Okay, so by now you should have the SantaClaritaLibrary.com, and this I'm going to put in a topic that nobody has, so that way I'm not overly helping one person and not another person. I'm going to look at Clara Barton, okay, and there's different ways you can do your search, and some of these techniques are going to work for all the different library systems. And sometimes you'll see the same book in different library systems. The only thing is, other times a library will have it, and a different system won't have it. That kind of a thing. They might list it slightly differently. Okay, so there's some things you're going to want to pay attention to. If you look up here, the buttons that say title, author, keyword, subject, and series, you should have a bunch of keywords or phrases that should essentially help you. For right now, if I'm going to do Clara Barton, I'm going to type her in last name first, Barton Clara, and you can go ahead and type in your person's name or your law or whatever you're doing, and you can do it as subject or keyword. It's entirely up to you, and see what comes up. Okay. I have 48 records. If you look right here where my cursor is, there's 48 records. But not all of them are going to be good. You don't want to just go, oh, I have 48 sources, yay, I'm done, because some of them are not going to be what you want. And here's an example. If we look at Clara Barton, we know she's a Civil War nurse. We're going to learn she's the founder of the American Red Cross. So those are keywords I would add on if I don't have a lot of great keywords. But if you look, there's some Google previews, great, fantastic. But if you look at the visual of the book alone, it's already going to tell you if the cover comes up. Just looking at the cover alone is an indicator that it is not really a book for high school students. Okay, it's going to have a lot of pictures in it, and look at the font. Okay, I'm going to tell you this is a child's book, and you do not want to be citing a children's book for college essays and stuff. And it says Childhood of Famous Americans. Okay, so this is probably going to focus on her childhood. This is also, I think, put by Aladdin Books, and I used to work for book companies and stuff like that. Or not book companies, bookstores and stuff, and I kind of have a familiarity with certain companies. This is from Enslow Elementary, or it's put out by this particular group. So you want to pay attention to that information. You do not want to be citing children's books. Okay, so be aware of that. Some of you are going to run into that problem. But don't just be fooled by the cover. Sometimes you need to look at it a little bit more. This one is the Civil War, and you want to pay attention to where it is being put in the libraries. It looks like it's in 2 libraries here. You can click on it more. So she doesn't have an entire book. She's a chapter in the book. Okay, she's a chapter in a book. So if I'm going to click on this book, I can get a little more information about it and go, okay, great. It's still a great source. She does not have to have an entire book about her to be considered a print source. The summary is going to give us some information. There's some maps. There's 160 pages. Okay, reveals how 6 historical figures interacted with each other to influence the Civil War. So we'll see how she plays a role. It's going to list you some other people, and some of those people might be names that repeat over and over again in relation to her. So this might be one we need to find. There's one copy at a local library, and it looks like it's at the Newhall Library. But then we find out it's stored in the children's section. And so that's why you want to keep looking and making sure. So it looked a little bit more professional and like something that might be stored in a different area. But when you go to look at the call number and the availability, if it's in the children's section, you don't really want to be using that book. So we're not going to try to check that one out. But for reference, when you do go to the library, you need to write all this information down. Let's say this was not a children's book. You'd need this number, what is it, 973.7 and on and on. You need to write that information down and bring it with you to the library and have the librarian help you find it if you've never walked into a library to find a book. You can place a request for this book so that they hold it, but in order for that to happen, you have to have a library card with that particular library system. And so you might need to contact the Santa Clarita Public Library System, and there might be a way in here that we can find to figure out how to get you a library card, but you'll have a PIN number and all of that stuff. You can reserve it, and then they'll have it ready for you. My understanding is they'll have it ready for you when you go into the library to pick it up. But we can't use this one as a children's book, so something to keep in mind. So I'm going to click back. Okay. And this takes a little bit of time. Let's see. Angel of the Battlefield. That would be a keyword phrase that I would use because I know for a fact that's going to come up all the time. But it's kids' biography. So it looks like we're going to get a lot of children's book for this person. We need to find something a little bit more professional. We keep scrolling down, and our 9th source says it's stored in Military Heroes. So that might be a little bit better. We check availability, and we look and see, okay, it's not available locally. However, it's not lost because now we have a title and an author that we can reference and write down, like on pen and paper. I know. You don't do that anymore, but try. Sorry, my screen is popping up with weird stuff. Go away. I don't know what that means. Somebody in here could probably fix my computer. Anyway, we could write down the title and the author, okay, and maybe even some of the publication information, and we can type that into a different library system. COC may even have this. There's a Google preview. We might be able to look at it digitally, okay, and we'll look at some of that towards the end of the class with the COC. Here's another one, Great Life Stories. Target audience node, I'm not entirely sure what this means. So this might be another source that would work a little further down. It doesn't seem to be listing anything in the children's section, but you may have to, oh, no, children's area. Okay, so it's listed down here. So by doing a little legwork here, you're avoiding running all over the library looking for books to find out that they are children's books. Let's see if this one, I don't think this one. Annotations. Take a second and skim through. You don't have to read every single word of all of this information, but it looks like it's a series, and at this point, okay, grades 7 through 9, it's a little below your grade level, but I wouldn't throw it in the children's book like the elementary school book. So, okay, you still want to generally go for higher reading level than that, but you are in 9th grade. And I have a feeling Clara Barton's going to have a lot of things in the children's section. It may be also listing a lot of things in the children's section first, so sometimes it's helpful to, and I can just tell by some of these covers they're set for children. Sometimes when I see a pattern, what I tend to do is go towards the end of the list and see what's popping up there and see if there's anything a little bit more mature popping up there. And some of it's the same books, they're children's books. So, most of you won't have a lot of that, but I know Temple Grandin has ones that are written in children form, and quite a few of the others sometimes do. But you can also do Clara Barton under author, see if she wrote anything. Try that. Okay. As the author of stuff. Nope. They're saying that she's the author, but it's not. It's written by other people, and these look like children's books as well. You can change this to keyword. You can change it to title. And then this is where I would type in Red Cross. And so you want to spend a significant amount of time in each system. Okay. If we look here, okay, and we find something that's a little bit more mature about the Red Cross, we're going to find Clara Barton in there. You see she's popping up a lot as well. Okay. Kelly Pickler. Not quite sure that's going to work. Speeches. Maybe she wrote a speech. I don't know. Founder of the American Red Cross. Biography. Please don't be a children's book. Please give me a good example. Gateway biography. And you'll see there's other subjects it's stored under, and that can give you some information of other keywords that you can add. So if some of your keywords aren't working, you can take them from other places. Let's see. Yeah, she started out as a teacher, and then she was one of the highest paid people working for the government, and then she starts the Red Cross. I remember she has this really impressive history about her. I don't see, again, oh, it's only 48 pages, so chances are it's not going to have a lot of information. So you look up at the American Red Cross. You might look up of Nurses American Red Cross. You might look up the dates. I mean, there's a lot of different information you can try to kind of go with to add, and try certain different combinations of keyword searches. But what I want you to do is start using all your different, I'm going to say American Red Cross. Red Cross is not just in America. So what I want you to do is, oh, a lot of people type thing. Take a few minutes in the Santa Clarita Public Library system to see if you can find something. But eventually it'll tell you where these things are located. This particular book is out. You can't get it. If we wanted to get it for a children's book, you can place a request if you have a library card, and we'll look at that in a second. But it is telling you which libraries have it. Okay, Canyon Country looks like a couple of copies of it. Click here to see items from all branches. So, if you click on that extra link, it'll tell you which branches have it. So I don't want you driving all over the place for it. Okay, so there's all these others. When it lists all these different library systems that are libraries that have it, that's when you can have a library card, place a request, and it can be pulled in from another library. Okay, but you have to have a barcode from your library card and your 4-digit PIN number, and then it'll ask you further questions about where do you want it sent to. Pick the library closest to your home. So take a few minutes, pause this, and go ahead and try your different number combinations. Okay, one thing I realized I forgot to go over before I made you pause was how to get a card. If you're on the home page of the Santa Clarita Public Library, you need to find the Get a Card option under Borrowing Info. And you actually have to take the time and read it. You can sign up for a card online, but you still have to show ID to pick up your card in person. Okay, so click on it. Sorry. Usually it lets you click on it when it's blue. There we go. And decide which one's going to be your home library, which one's closest to you. Most people would pick one of these three. And then whatever your postal code is, so the school is 91355, but you'd pick your own for your area. Select your city. Okay, find the right city. And you just keep answering the questions. Eventually you have to show up at the public library with some ID, and they will give you your card. I'm going to click back a couple of screens. With the borrowing info, it'll tell, oops, just kidding. The borrowing info, it also tells you loan periods and renewals, how to renew an item, how to place items on hold, fines. You don't want to fall into that trap. When I was writing my master's thesis, I spent so much money on late fees and renewing fees and all kinds of stuff. So you really want to kind of watch it. And hours, locations for when you want to go actually pick up your stuff. Okay? Go ahead and go back to the calendar. Let's go to the county library system. Okay, and that is, looks like colapublib.org. If you look at the top of the screen here. And they're going to have some options as well for you. So let's go ahead and get there. colapublib.org. Alright, and we're going to look at the catalog. Okay, I would do advanced catalog search, which is the blue right here underneath. And it's a lot of the same things we just talked about. If you have a library card, you can put your information in here, but you can do a keyword search, Barton, Clara, and this, or you can search for the individual books. You can just keep it simple. You're going to hopefully get more hits that way. Here is something. This looks new. It says medicine. So before I would place it on hold, you want to look at it and make sure, again, the same kinds of things. It's in children's nonfiction, as we see down here. So I'm not going to get discouraged. Oh, yay, resubmit. Continue. And I know Clara Barton is predominantly taught a lot at the elementary school level. So anyways, I would just keep going through and just keep chipping away. You'll probably have more luck when we get into databases, which we will do in another lesson. Not today. But you'll see there's a lot of things listed here. A lot of the same kinds of books. 28 copies currently available of this one. I'm trying to see if this is a children's book. It's in nonfiction. Children's nonfiction. So some are putting it in fiction, some are in children's nonfiction. It's more likely children's nonfiction. I'm going to click go back instead of the back arrow because the back arrow takes too long. If I want to type in Story of the Red Cross. Here's a sound recording. You are allowed to listen to those. Those kinds of things are fine. I might change my search and click up here to new search. Some of the same kinds of things. I might do American Red Cross as keywords. And then I might change it as topic. And then I might change it as various other things. Music for wartime stories. Okay, so she might be a chapter, a part of things in there. This is a novel, so I'm going to go with fiction. Don't want to be reading that. I'm citing it. So there's going to be some fiction thrown in there sometimes. So you just have to watch. That's not going to work. So, yeah, if it says novel, not for you. Okay. It's a children's one as well. Most of you won't have this problem where all of them are children's fiction or nonfiction. Most of you will be able to do some. If you were to do, I'll do a couple people's. Brashear Carl. He would have, this is going to be a video. This is going to be a Hollywood thing. You do not want to be citing that as well. Okay. And I kept it open. Match on keywords. You could do it as a keyword. You could do it as a subject. See if anything comes out about him. Okay, so some of you are going to have more luck than others. That just depends on your subject matter. Alice. She usually has some, she's going to have some children's things coming up. You'll use suffragists, so any of you guys who have suffragists. Iron Jawed Angels is a Hollywood movie. Okay, this would probably be fine. A Woman's Crusade, in nonfiction and biographies, things like that. So you guys are going to have, oh, I didn't do that, did I? Grr. So those of you who are doing suffragists might have a little luck with that. The more current your subject is, the little bit harder it might be. But again, you just try some various keywords and things like that. Back. When I go back to the library system, I just click on the little icon here. You will see there are ebooks and audiobooks that you can download. I don't know if that's a different Kindle phone. Oh, look at what they're up to now. Some guidelines there. Doesn't seem right now. It looks like just to even look at them, you want to just do your general research up here in the catalog. That's what you're looking for, research. Eventually, we'll get into databases, so you guys will come back to this. I want to do a whole lesson with you on databases. Okay, so you don't need to get too caught up in this today. Try to find those books and prints, or your subject is maybe a chapter in a book. It's not going to be a whole topic about a book. That's why if you want to do something like suffragists, and I spelled that wrong. Yay. Okay, suffragists, and sometimes it'll come up for you, which is nice. Again, you'll get some other ones that come up. It seems like they're really heavy on the children's sections. I wonder if I'm clicking on something and not realizing it. I get a lot of children's books. You don't want suffragists in England, and you don't want drama. Okay, you don't want young adult literature. Fiction, Great Britain, juvenile. Why do they just assume it's juvenile fiction? That's weird. Anyway, those are some terms you can use. Okay, but some of your suffragists will come up there. So I'm kind of getting out of the Clara Barton thing a little bit. The COC library will have potentially more sources. So take a few minutes and try to do like 10 minutes. Try to do some searches with all of your different keywords here. Okay, some of you guys may not have much. Okay, here's Leonard Matlovich. What is this? Item information, West Hollywood Library. This is a book. You may want to try to get this sent. So when you have your library card and your PIN number, that's sometimes when you can get place the item on hold, and you can find out more on these topics. Sometimes they'll lead you to the other things. So a lot of times you guys just have to look around and click on it, but make sure you're not getting a fictional book, because you can't be citing a fictional book. Okay, so take about 10 minutes. Try this source. Go ahead and pause this. So, the LA Public Library System, you're going to do some of the same techniques. It's just going to potentially have different resources. It's www.lapl.org, lapubliclibrary.org. And we see this first search bar. We're going to search the library catalog. So, American Red Cross as keywords and see what we get. This looks a little better maybe. Okay. The information essentially looks the same. Here we have checkboxes if we like something. And then we can somehow, often what they'll do is they'll have a list, and you can view just the list of the ones you check, and then you can print that out so you have the call numbers. Sometimes you can email this information or email the MLA information to yourself. There's a lot of things. The American Red Cross, a history. Well, that already looks a little more promising than some of the stuff that we've seen. Some of the tags and locations and all of that stuff. It's 554 pages. HarperCollins, it looks like, published in 1950. It looks like it's going to be a much more professional version and what we're looking for. So I think what you'll find is as we go to the next two systems, we're going to use LA Public Library and we're going to use the COC Library. You'll find that you're going to have a lot more luck and you'll want to spend a little more time here. What locations are we at? So it is in the Central Library. That's in downtown LA. So I am not by any means suggesting you drive to all the way downtown LA. You can place it on hold, and often you can get this sent up to a closer library. Place it on hold. You have to have an ID, and this is where I don't have my an LA Public Library card in here with me. Usually you can place it on there and then you can have it sent up and pick a different location. And that's where, if you have an ID card, you can do that. Otherwise, if you don't plan on checking the book out and you just want to go down and look at it, then you would have to go down there. I don't think they would ship it up without a library card. So generally I don't suggest that. But what you could do is you can write the title and the author down and keep that information, and we can see if we can find another copy up here. So you can go back into one of the Santa Clarita systems and type in this title and author, see if you have some hits that way. And then we'll look at Google Books. Sometimes Google Books has a digital copy of it, and sometimes COC can have a digital copy of it or a hard copy of it. But you need the title and the author. Oh, goodness. Okay, so at least we have some sources to try to find if we don't want to go all the way driving far, which I'm not suggesting you do. Here's another one. It's got two locations. Wilmington, again, not a local place, but that might be something. And often reviews, ratings, related titles, you can look here. Nobody's editorial review, and see, okay, it's grades 6 through 9, again, a little below your reading level, but it's going to give you some more information. So take the time and kind of glance through some of this so that you don't spend time going places and trying to find books that are really not for you. Let's see if this one looks a little bit better. Nope, no reviews on that one. Okay. Maybe a history of the American Red Cross. Okay, you might also like these titles. So now what's happening is this system is kind of doing a little more work for you, but unless you read, what is that, Dutch? Or German. Looks like German. Unless you're reading German, you're not doing that one. Okay. Oh, okay, we're not liking it. We don't even know. We can click on it and see if this one works. Is it digital, the book? We shall see what we shall see. You know, everybody gets to hear the weird comments under my breath because it's recording. Yay! Okay, click on this and just kind of, if you find something, write the title and the author down. Okay, so it's written by a historian, talks about Clara Barton some more. I would read through this and skim through it and make sure it's not a fictionalized version of it. Bibliographical references. So this might be kind of helpful. Couple hundred pages. Okay, you need this call number. That means you have to go find it on the bookshelf. Okay. Now, other things you can do is if you really are into your subject and you want an Amazon, buy it. You can, but please don't go tell your parents I'm making you go buy books because that would not be true. But sometimes Google has some Google books and stuff. Okay, so I'm just kind of clicking around, but you'll see it's kind of easy to get lost in this search in a good way when you have a system that has that's a lot bigger. So the LA Public Library system. Okay, why is it not going back? Is there an X I'm missing? I wish you guys were here to tell me where I can't make this work. Okay, I'll just click back here. Our librarians are reading. Great. LAPL.org. Back to the website. Okay. But again, you can go back and try all your different keywords and subjects, or if there's a certain book you're looking for. Okay. If you want to get a library card, go up here where it says Get a Library Card. Click on it, and it'll tell you how to get a library card. Apparently, there's e-card registration. Access to online databases. We will get to databases. You want that. That would be great. Downloadable e-media. So if there's a downloadable video of some sort, you can do that. It may not be used to place holds on regular library oral items. I'm not sure what they're qualifying as library items. Anyways, you have to, if you pre-register, you have to pick up the card in 30 days and show ID. Okay, so they'll tell you the process there. And I think at that point, loan periods, it's called an interlibrary loan, and hopefully they have that option still. Renewing the materials, holds reserves, hold, and sometimes what they'll do is an interlibrary loan, so they'll sometimes ship the book to a closer library. Loan periods, fees, holds reserves. So we can kind of touch on that later if you find something you like. So, yeah. Take some time, take about another 10 or 15 minutes to do this, and we have one more system that we're going to look at, and then we will be done for today. But you're going to use the rest of the time to try to find as many book or print sources as possible so that you have a lot to draw from. Okay? Give yourself about 10 minutes, and I will see you back. Okay, and here we are at our final step for the day, our final system that we're going to use. Go ahead and go to canyons.edu, and I will wait for you to get there. Okay, and you should be somewhat familiar with it. I usually just go into the search bar up here and type library, and then I'll click on the first link. Okay. Just to familiarize you with it, you have several things, and we will start with this site or this page next time when we get into databases. But we have find books, which is what we'll start with. We also have databases. Let me go back one. Sorry. Find books, databases, ebooks, other research sources. Okay, so they've got MLA in here as well. Magazines and journals, which you'll get a lot of those out of your databases sometimes. And then various things like the hours and things like that. So let's go ahead and go to Find Books. Click on Find Books. And you'll see a lot of the similar kinds of things that we've done. You have the basic one. You have the advanced search, where you can type in several words. If you have something really broad, you can type in name in a specific area, a subject search. Okay. Go ahead and start with the basic. Barton, Clara. Probably won't get a lot. And then I usually just say all materials. You can do 20 records a page if you want, and search. And I started with keywords. Okay. I only have 5 results in this case. And I'm not overly surprised. Like I said, she's generally taught at the elementary school level for whatever reason. Okay. You have some icons over here and some boxes. The boxes are things you can click on and eventually log in as your student ID, your COC student ID, things like that. And then you can email these sources to yourself. I don't have a COC ID, so I'm sure some of you will figure it out and tell each other, and I welcome that. That's perfectly fine. You have little icons. Here we have a little book icon, which tells you it's some sort of a book. In this case, it's an ebook, which you're going to have more and more of those. Those are considered print sources for me, because otherwise, if it's a web source, I'm considering it a website. Here we have a little video icon, and for that, you need to actually go into the library usually and go in and watch it. Oh, here we go with this pop-up thing. Go into the library and watch it, and reserve one of the rooms and all that stuff. That is on the 2nd floor, usually, unless they've moved things. And you need to give them this number. I'd also write the title down and the producer and all that information. And then here's another ebook. So let's go ahead and just click on the first. Reforming the World, the Creation of America's Moral Empire, American Hero in Children's Literature. Okay, Encyclopedia of Civil War Medicine. Let's try that one. That looks a little bit better. We're going to click on it. Okay, looking at it here, this is telling you some of the various contents in it. Clara Barton, she's a chapter in it. So again, you don't need an entire book on your person. She can be mentioned, a chapter. She may not have a lot of information, but anything is good. Okay. You scroll to the bottom, and it says ebook. Click here to view full text. Alright, then it says enter your username. It's going to be magic. Oops. And your password for everybody, if you call the library, you can get this as well, mountain. Okay. Magic, mountain. Like the park. And then you click login. Please work, please work. Good. Okay. I'm going to save it because I don't have to type it 100 times. And that is only until the end of this semester. If you try to do your research during Christmas break for this, you're going to find the problem is that they're probably going to change the password, and you're trying to get a hold of the librarians during winter intercession and go in and show your ID and all that stuff. Use smart text searching to find. Okay, I guess so. Oh, that means it'll help you find Clara Barton within stuff sometimes. Nope, that didn't work out well. We've got poetry, art of war. Okay, so I'm going to go back and say no thanks. Okay. This looks a little different than what I'm used to. So for ebooks, I guess it's this call number, but it's not coming up now. So maybe we have to copy the title. Yeah. the title and the author. I don't remember. I have to go back and get it. You're learning what I'm learning. Alright. That's not helpful. I thought it would take you straight to the source. Apparently not. So I would say the Encyclopedia of Civil War Medicine, or you might have to write it down and then go back and type it in there. Copy, paste, at the bottom, we go back in, we type in, what's our, oh, it just let us stay in there. Awesome. So at this point, you might need to do this. See if this comes up with it. No results found. Try down here. Paste. Search. Right, I don't know what's up with their ebooks if we're typing it in exactly and it's not giving us what we're asking for. No results were found. Find all my search terms. That no text. It said it had a copy of the ebook. Maybe we go up here to ebooks and type it in there. Oh, okay. So you have to go up to the ebooks up here and then type it in. But we have shipwrecks, Encyclopedia of Sports Medicine. We wanted Civil War Medicine. Now we have to scroll through images of Civil War Medicine. Oh, that's going to be pretty. New Encyclopedia of Southern Culture. Well, this isn't it. I wonder if... I don't know why it's not. I wonder if we do quotations around it. And this is how research works. That's why I'm not going to edit all this stuff out in this babbling that I'm doing. No, that didn't work either. We might need the author. Let me open an additional window. Karen's EDU library. Maybe you need a couple of windows. And we did Barton Clara search. Let me get this author's name. Glenna Schroeder-Lean. We'll do this. We'll copy it from here. Or not. I am never going to remember how to spell that. Unless I can get it here. Copy. And ebooks. Up here. Paste. See if we can do Lincoln in medicine. Okay, well she's written a few things. Barton, Clara. So maybe she's still in here. I'm not entirely sure. I would do a table of contents before I go into all the work of downloading it. I mean, it is Civil War. That would make sense. The Lincoln connection. The only other thing you can do is look at the PDF full text. Click on that and see if there's a way to download it. And I'm not going to expect you to print it, especially if this thing's like 200 pages. But you might be able to print the few pages that you need, especially if she's just a chapter in the book. Right now it's a blank page. You have to click on a medical matters during the Civil War. Let's try that chapter. Okay. Is that a thing down here? Nope. Okay, I don't know if it's waiting for a reply. Okay, that's probably my computer. Usually this stuff comes up a little faster. I'm going to do Temple Grandin in the search and just see what else comes up to see if I can show you some other samples. Okay, Temple Grandin's going to have a lot of animal studies. There's going to be a lot. Okay, you don't really need the forward by her per se. You might find some information, but you can use it. You don't just want to be citing the forwards. This might be interesting, this video. 5 sources. I've got to believe there's only 5 sources for Temple Grandin. You'll find a ton more in your databases when we get there. Asperger's and alcohol is probably not going to be what you need. But again, we have this ebook scenario coming in. Let's see if this looks a little more promising. Oh, okay. This one seems to be working better, so it must be just the Clara Barton connection. I just clicked on ebook, and it seems to have taken me potentially right to it. And if I click on chapter 3, maybe chapter 3 will come up. That would be really nice. There we go. Okay, this is what you should generally get. I don't know why the Clara Barton thing, it's starting to work. Okay. So eventually it should show up. My computer is probably 100 years old and just taking forever. So hopefully your computers are a little better shape than mine. But the pages come up. Sometimes there's a way to do a find, permalink share site. I'm still going to make you check the citing. I don't mind that if you pull it here, but you have to compare it to make sure that it's actually right. Sometimes there's slight variations in the citing, and they'll do APA instead of MLA, and I will get you. I know the difference. Okay, so here's some information. Some programs have a find option. Mine computer doesn't seem to be doing it. If someone in the class knows how to just, I'm under help. No, that's not what I want. There's a way to find a certain word or search within. Maybe it's up here. Search this ebook, Temple Grandin, and sometimes it will take you straight to the page. Here we go. Here's the forward that we were looking for. Okay, and this is what she wrote. So instead of reading the whole thing, go into search within in this case, and then type in whatever it is that you're looking for. Okay, so this is kind of where you want to go for this. I wouldn't stick in ebooks. Go back to the general searching options that you have for books. You could do it with, I don't think you're going to get a lot here for Carl Brashear. I'm spelling his name right, I hope. Maybe not. Paul, Alice. Just trying to remember some of the topics off the top of my head. You'll get some for her. No call number, ebook. Okay, so hopefully you'll have a little better faster load and stuff. But don't forget, every time you get a source, if you find something that looks good, if you only need a few pages, okay, I'd read through the description first to make sure it's something you actually need. Sometimes it's some little tiny bit of information you don't need. Go up to new search. If this whole thing is about Alice Paul, well then you might need to always have a digital something available to you. If you say only need chapter 1, this is just a piece of advice. Let's say you only need chapter 1. I would see if there's a way to save those pages for chapter 1 and print them, and that way you can highlight, annotate whatever you need to do on them. If printing in ink and paper is not an option and you want to print a book, that's fine, but please check with your families first. I always hate it when people use up all the ink and then I go to print something that I really need and it's gone. That makes me go to crazy town. So just check with your families. It's not required to print everything out. You will find that some of these sources won't work, or internet is down, or it's jammed, things like that. And to just have to copy from a screen all the time can get really frustrating. So my advice is, if you just need a few pages or a chapter, I'd print it. It's also much easier. You can just pull your folder out and work on reading through some sources, versus always having to have an internet connection, because it's not always as easy as you'd like to think. And reading this on your phone might be a little bit hard to navigate through. So anyways, that is how you get some of the stuff from the books. Or if there's a book actually in the library, if they have a regular copy of it, go in and find some actual books. Okay, you can always Xerox a page or 2 out if you need to, but that way you have them to bring in. I know ebooks are the rage now, positives and negatives to it. So it looks like it'll tell you right here if it's an ebook or not. Here's one that's an actual book, not checked out, main stacks. Okay, this is entry number 3. Remember, there are going to be other kids in the class that might want to use it, so if you really don't, you get it and you look at it and you don't love it, put it exactly back in the right spot. If you don't know how to go onto a bookshelf and find the book, it's really alphabetized by letters, and then you follow the numbers, and then you just keep following it all the way through. There's a few, but again, flip through the books while you're there to make sure it really captures what you're looking for. Oh, pop-ups. Yay! I think it wants me to shut up like you guys probably want me to shut up. Some videos as well. For Alice Paul, they're going to give you like Iron Jawed Angels. Remember, that's a Hollywood production. I'm not suggesting that it's not at all good. I'm just saying kind of watch it a little bit. And then if you, at the bottom of the page, there's 3 pages of information for her. So, you know, and if you have like Lucy Burns, you can kind of use some of the Alice Paul things. Now here it's Alice Nichols, so you got the wrong Alice. Okay, so don't just click on any book. You're going to get stuff you don't need. Again, when you're going back to the search, if you try one search term, you can go and try different ones. You can look at exact titles or subject. I would say keep it at all material, because then it gives you a little bit more options. If you're doing a current event and they want it a certain day, current event is usually in the last couple of years, but if they want semi-current event, you might click at 2000 and after, 2005 and after, that kind of a thing. But for now, you can go ahead, and then there's advanced search if you want to. If you get too many hits and you want to say like Lucy Burns, Alice Paul, and suffrage or something, so you don't get those weird other Alice entries that have nothing to do with suffrages. Or again, subject and author. So you should take quite a bit of time searching through this and get a sense, and then what you'll do is you'll use the rest of the class period to search for some sources, and go ahead and if you find some sources, start trying to check stuff out at the library, but then check how long you're allowed to have them. You will be needing all of your sources. You need to have 5 sources. 3 must be print, so an ebook is considered print. It went through an editor, and we could print it out and it's an actual book. A website, they're incredibly hard to cite, and you really are going to go through an entire process of validating the website to make sure that it's a quality website and not a school project. You guys made school projects, and they're beautiful, but at the same time, you're not an expert in your field, so you want somebody writing the website that's a certain college degree or higher. So that's something else that we'll talk about in future classes. And then we'll also talk about databases, and databases will be print sources as well. So you'll have a lot of options. If you're not getting a lot of hits on this one, this system, the College of the Canyon system, but you got a lot on the LA Public Library system, go back there and spend a little more time there. Certain ones will give you more than others. If you're not getting anything, it might be your key terms are not quality. You need to go back and do some key terms. And it's okay to, at this point, since you all have different subjects, look at some of your friends that got positive comments on their key terms. They might have had a bunch of phrases, 3 or 4 worded phrases that might help them a little bit more. And as you find a key term that helps, go ahead and add it to your list. Just write it on your paper. That's perfectly fine. But it's a chance for you to kind of evolve your list a little bit, so that way you're making sure that if you find a better term, you're actually using the term and you're remembering it. This is going to be a process. Hi guys, I'm back. Okay, so I also wanted to take a minute to have the screen change on me. Yay! Alright, I wanted to go over the calendar to make sure you are aware of what's going on. We did the library system today. Here's the links to all of your different libraries. Let me go ahead and put your passwords on here. Was it username magic? Oh, it's lowercase. Magic. Password mountain. Okay. And alright, so all you have to do is find some sources for your research paper and find whatever you can. And I will see you guys on Tuesday. And again, you can ask Mrs. Martinez any questions you have. She might know some stuff as well. She might know more than me. I just had to figure it out as I was teaching you. And then also the tutors in the tutoring lab will probably know a couple of things. And yeah, we'll do databases next time and websites the last time. And then we are into getting ready for finals. All right, take it easy, guys. Thanks. Bye-bye.